What's up, my brothers out and sisters out there, man? You know what I'm saying? Another blessed day. My brothers and sisters out there on the continent, Black Africa, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm talking to you. I hope y'all come on in, man, listen to what's got to be said. Hope, you know what I'm saying, my thoughts and my opinion is well received with the brothers and sisters out there, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking to those brothers and sisters who truly want to be liberated. Those brothers and sisters who truly want complete freedom. I'm speaking to those brothers and sisters who truly want to see not just the individual countries, but all of Africa, man, work for all the Africans. You know what I'm saying? You know, the people who invested in having a fair and just system that everybody can participate in, and you know, as well as take joy in knowing that they're getting the benefit of their fruits and labor, you know what I'm saying, of giving their heart and their mind, their spirit to making sure everybody is treated equally and fair. And people are being dealt with, you know what I'm saying, you know, justly, you know. So those who are working to create a true system that is going to be for serving the people, you know what I'm saying, not a few, not some groups of families, not some groups of tribes, no, but everybody, you know what I'm saying, is going to be a benefit from this system that's going to be created from the thinking and mind and spirit of an African, a black African. Not from the mind and spirit of somebody from the outside who's saying this is what's best for you. I'm talking to those people, you know what I'm saying? And so my thought today, man, is to let the brothers and sisters know. I'm going to try to be brief because I'm not on the continent, so I'm not educated enough to speak on a lot of things of the governments and what they doing and what they not doing. I'm only seeing from a far distance. But what I see is I'm able to make connection to what goes on here in the States with our leadership, what goes on here in the States with the condition of the black man here and the black woman here. You know what I'm saying? And so these connections are similar, just like the symptoms are similar. When y'all talk about how the people are dealing with diseases, poverty, illiteracy, a lot of people are not being taught, you know what I'm saying, not being able to get an education because they're trying to focus on feeding themselves. When y'all talk about the leadership in y'all countries, you know what I'm saying, about the puppet leadership, the leadership that's ruled over y'all country, and they only focus on doing the bidding of the outside colonizers or the white people or white males, you know what I'm saying. They only allowing for corporations to come in and steal their resources, basically steal their money. And the only people that get the benefit is the people in the leadership. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so we deal with that here. Only difference is I know it's on a extreme level there, because the poverty is much extreme. You know what I'm saying? And so than it is here. But we deal with the same symptoms, the same, and I can make the same connections. And so that's why I'm trying to speak to the brothers and sisters on the continent, because I want to make it known and make it aware to our brothers who are for true liberation and complete freedom, you know what I'm saying, of this enemy, is that we can't continue to make the same mistake. We can't continue to make the same repeated mistakes where it become a cycle, where we become locked in. And we don't learn from true liberation, true revolutions. We don't learn from the things that went on in the past already. We don't take heed to the blueprint that's been laid by our ancestors. We don't even try to follow. We don't even try to learn and study them in order for us to move forward as a unit. And so we find ourselves making the same mistakes, and we find out whereas that we think we are getting away from bad leadership, and we find ourselves reintroducing a bad leadership. It just got a different name, a different look, or a different family. But it'd be the same old thing. And so I'm trying to speak to the brothers, you know what I'm saying, to take heed of this mistake. When you look at stuff this coup that just took place in Gambia, and you see that family that was in leadership for all that time, and they finally basically sit dude down who was the president of that country. And then you discovering as you go along all this money that belongs to the people that this man had hidden in certain places, only enriching his family, only enriching his supporters, you know what I'm saying, to maintain his family rulership. He'd been taught and groomed how to rule, how to maintain his rulership. He also got the bagging of the outside forces, because while he doing what he doing, living a lavish life in his family, they are stealing the resources of the people. And in the process they steal the resources of the people, they give him some money. This money of the people, though, they give him some money to keep him quiet, to keep him, to maintain stabilization, to keep him maintain this so-called form of democracy. That you hear intelligent, insane people telling the people of Africa, even when you have this type of behavior or leadership in play, you still got to maintain this form of system of democracy. So even if you got a bad rulership, you got to put up, basically what they're telling y'all, to put up with this rulership and go through the procedures of the Constitution of democracy. But going through the procedures of the Constitution of democracy, there's no way to remove this type of bad leadership. So that's why they wind up staying in positions of leadership over the people, ruin the countries of the people, watching people die through starvation, disease, and war and conflict. They brutalize and then locking people up unjustly. They got to put up with this sickness, this injustice, just to maintain democracy, the system of democracy, this form of the system of democracy. This the intelligent, insane people telling the Africans to do this here. And so I'm telling my brothers and sisters on the continent, man, who are truly about liberation, y'all gonna have to understand it's gonna take a form of separation and violence. You cannot bring about complete freedom and separation from this here type of force when you're dealing with a diabolical enemy. That's those Western powers, United States, France, Germany, Britain, Italy. It's those Western forms of power that are keeping our people from being united. They're keeping, you know what I'm saying, these puppet governments in place and keeping them in rulership for so long. And then they have orchestrated coups. When somebody who they put in place decides not to listen no more, they have orchestrated in the past. We know this shit. A lot of the coups that the intelligent insane try to tell y'all that they don't like, they don't mention that a lot of these coups that took place in the past were coups instigated by the former colonizers. Because one of their puppets was doing something they didn't like. He was trying to buck. He had forgot, man, hey, this is what you stay in line with. Know your place. And so he had tried to buck and get out of place. So they said, okay, we're finna get you out of there. Unbeknown, we gonna use people in your military to get you up out of there. That we know ain't loyal to you. They loyal to us. And so they instituted a lot of these coups to reinstall people who will bring about what they feel is maintain stabilization on the continent, using the form of democracy, using the form of a person to support democracy. But this form of democracy and system they set up is to maintain a dictatorship, maintain a rulership for 40, 30 years of them controlling, you know what I'm saying, the country, so they can maintain they stealing and robbing of the resources, you know what I'm saying, and this person who over his people, keeping his people weak, keeping his people oppressed. And so what I'm saying to my brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, who are about true liberation, we got to study the past and history, understand what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a diabolical monster. He don't mind killing some of his people just to maintain his agenda, maintain his system. He'll sacrifice some of his own. White folks have sacrificed some of their own people just to continue their system, just to continue their agenda of rulership and domination. So what you think they think about you? If they wouldn't have sacrificed some of their own. They don't give a damn about you. And so they love when you talk about being nonviolent. They love when you talk about coming with this peace, negotiation and compromising with them. They love that talk because they know you ain't finna fight them. You're not ready to take that sacrifice and fight. And as long as they know you're not willing to fight, we'll talk. We'll entertain. But while we entertain talks, we plotting already. We plotting the circle around you. For when you think you finna get out of line, we gonna come in and crush because you ain't thinking that we planning and plotting to take over. Without you agreeing or not, we come to take over. And so our people are sitting here engaged in this come back and forth with our enemy, not thinking that our enemy is still plotting against us. They still plotting against us. And so we get comfortable with thinking that we done made steps in revolution, we done made steps in overthrowing our oppressors, and not thinking that, hey man, these people still on the outskirts, they still inside our countries. As long as they still on the outskirts, they still outside our countries. And like I say, yeah, you can, like Mali, get them out the country, but they right next door in another country. They got bases in another country. They got a bases right here, they still on the continent. So you can't never be sitting around in comfort thinking that, okay, I got them out of my country, now I can sit back and focus on this and that. No, you still on the threat. Especially when they had the intelligent, insane people trying to propagate to the people on the continent that stay in line with democracy systems, even if it means keeping a rulership over you that is oppressing you, keeping the people starved, uneducated at all costs, watching their babies die, watching their elders get sick and die. You must maintain this form of democracy at all costs. That's intelligent, insane people talking like that. And I can't believe that the people that believe in liberation entertain these people and still see these people as brothers and sisters. We got to separate. When you see that these leaders, man, have been using the people's money, man, to maintain a lifestyle, maintain a system that keep the people oppressed, because they need the people to stay weak and oppressed so they can't overthrow them. And at the same time, letting they bosses, they masters, rob the country of their natural resources. How can this be still a brother? How can this be still a sister to you, my African brothers? The men, the soldiers, who claim to be soldiers. The military supposed to be the people military. Not no family military, not no certain group military. It's supposed to be in the service of the people. It's supposed to be a people military. That's supposed to be the rule of a military. When they see leadership is not acting right, they're not doing right, they're not serving the people, they supposed to come in and step in and take over. But when the military take over, you got to understand, as a military, as a warrior, brothers, it's not just the people you removing, they got an enemy that allowed them to stay in place, that you got to now prepare and say, man, we got to stay in war mode. Because we got these enemies all around us. Even if we got them out of our country, we got them in South Africa, we got them in this country, we got them in this country set up. So we got to think war mode. We got to re-educate the population. Once we re-educate our population, they got to go out and send it as as educational soldiers, they got to go out and go across the borders into other borders and educate the people about revolution, about true liberation, about true complete freedom. They got to go outside their borders and go and educate those brothers and sisters in those countries that's also got those type of leadership in play that weaken the country. Educate those brothers and sisters to get them up to being able to see what's going on, so they can't be deceived and tricked by their government and by the news media that operate like the European news media over here against their public. This is the sole purpose of a true revolutionary. This is the sole purpose of a true person that's talk about liberation and complete freedom. You may not necessarily be a warrior to go out and engage in armed conflict, but if you, as an educator, you can go out and engage in participating in the war and going out and educating your fellow brother, your fellow sister about true revolution, about true complete freedom, and understand we got to create for ourselves. We can't have no detachment to our former colonizers, to this constant enemy. We can't have no weakness from within, where we have our people believing that this is okay, that we're supposed to just sit here and accept these type of systems to rule over us, to steal from our country and give to other countries, then to develop their countries, allow their country to have clean water, free from diseases, good health systems, educational system for them, nothing for us. And so I'm telling my brothers and sisters right now, man, who believe in true liberation, the men, the military men, you cannot sit comfortably thinking because you done got rid of this government that everything is cool. You can focus. It got to be constantly pushing forward. And for my brothers, this is the solution to the brothers who are true about revolution, the true military people who done took control of their country. You got to unite with those other liberating forces. Y'all got to come together, brothers. Y'all can't be sitting separately in y'all countries thinking that, man, it's just enough to say if y'all attack, we attack. No, y'all can't deal like that, brother. You up against a force. You up against a force, man. The West got their allies, NATO. That's a community of people. Not just their respective governments, British, France, Germany. They got a alliance of community of people that you up against. Then on that front, you got to deal with that diabolical enemy. But then he got a front of AU members. Those who gave allegiance to them, they masters in AU, the African Union, that's their puppets. So now you got to deal with them too. They own the continent. So you can't sit back in no country and be comfortable, man, thinking that because you done liberate the people from this rulership, that now you can function normally. No, it's you in wolf mode all the way. You went and when brothers, the militaries over there came and did their coups, man, you in a constant military mode now. You in constant military mind now, constant military spirit now. You got to think constantly, man, we in war. And the only way we can win, we got to prepare the masses and the people, the people that we lead, you know what I'm saying, and forward in this revolution. We got to educate them and train them to be in war mode. Not comfort, not sitting back being comfortable. War mode. We got to focus on using our land to produce our own food. And we got to educate our people about this revolution so they can go out inside their borders and educate the other people about this revolution. We moving forward in the war spirit. Peace, non-violence ain't gonna get you complete freedom. It's not gonna maintain complete freedom because we got too many enemies. Too many enemies, man. Too many enemies on the continent. And they constantly thinking, they constantly strategizing to figure out how they can regain Mali, how they can regain Niger, how they can regain these countries that got it out of their cipher of control. How? So they study plotting, they study planning, they study strategizing. They ain't in no comfort mode. They never have been. We have been the ones been in the comfort, laid back mode, not putting in no type of defense or resistance. And so the leadership over here, my brothers, you can't rely on the black caucuses and the leadership over here in the States. They puppets. They just like the leadership over there. They minds are just like the leadership over there, brothers. So if y'all think y'all got friends in the black leadership over here, they got their allegiance to the Democratic Party, Republican Party, hey, y'all in trouble. When the brothers talk about, there's a young brother on there, he talk about how in the BRICS, they denied Nigeria. They denied Nigeria, you know what I'm saying, to be a part of the BRICS. And he, rightfully so, pointed out it wasn't the people that they was denying, it was the government. Because they understand the government has their allegiance to this Western power. So why would we allow somebody in who has their allegiance to the Western power to be a part of our circle? So you can come in and cause all type of chaos, as well as tell your master what was going on and what we talking about. Why would we let somebody into our circle like that? To disrupt what we trying to do. So it's the same thing, bros. Don't let some of these brothers and sisters over here that they believe in this system. They're part of it. Some of the senators, the Congress, they're part of this system. Don't let them fool you talking about they advocating. They part of some of this system, some of the same stuff that's going on in that company, that's been going on in the company. They done signed off on it with some of their colleagues, they white colleagues. Yeah, okay, yeah. They didn't sign off on it. They didn't watch, just like a lot of those African leaders over there didn't watch those families rule countries and run countries into the ground. They didn't approve of it. Don't be fooled, brothers and sisters. But I'm talking specifically to the men and to the military men on the continent of Africa. And to those who want the continent to shine, to be given true light. You have a lot of people over there who believe in this capitalism. They selfish, they arrogant, they egotistic, they materialistic. And so they're going to advocate for you to maintain the system, this system. Even though they might be in agreement with what's going on, they still going to maintain this system because they're caught up into the materialistic things of this system. They caught up in a belief. They don't have the confidence to believe they can create for themselves. And so they're not going to break away. They're not going to detach themselves and challenge themselves to create for themselves. But true revolutionaries know when you engage revolution, complete changing of the system. Completely. Everything must go. Everything must go. Hey, that's my thought, man. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could speak more. And I would try to continue, you know what I'm saying, to speak on this shit, man, because I need our brothers and sisters to stay focused. Those true liberators, the true people who believe in revolution, man, we got to stay focused and on task and on purpose, man. It's going to take some violence, man. It's going to take some removal. It's going to take us, man, have to deal with some people harshly just to get them out of our way because they hate themselves. They don't want to see Africa rise. They don't want us to see us create for ourselves. They are used to being told what to do. They are used to seeking approval of white males. They're happy with their status. They're happy being pat on the back. Good job. You're doing a good job. They're happy for getting that from white males. And so we're going to have to deal with these people in such a manner where they're not our brothers, they're not our sisters. their enemy. Their enemy to the development and growth of all the Africans. Not just on the continent, but for those who want to come back and participate in helping the true liberation come about, true freedom, and the true syphilis gonna work for everybody. That's my thought, man. Peace to y'all brothers, man.